Hi, this is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. I'm excited to be on today with the topic of what is a sexy business. You know, when we started the podcast, we had questions come in and messages come in about what does it mean to have a sexy business. And we thought, wait a minute, we're going to back up from the interviews for a minute and put like the principles of a sexy business and a sexy life down so that you can understand what we're talking about. It's really important. So our tagline is, we are here to help you create a sexy business for a sexy life. Well, a sexy business is one that does not own you. I don't know if you've ever had a bad business or a bad job, but it owns you. It tells you when you have to be somewhere. It tells you what you have to do. It's the one dictating your life and your schedule. A lot of people create a sexy business after having a very ugly business. That's me. I had an ugly business. It wasn't that it wasn't profitable. It wasn't that it wasn't an amazing business, but I didn't have a life. I had to basically take care of that business and make it my life. And that is not a sexy business. You know, a sexy business is one also that customers and clients are chasing you. You're not chasing them. You're not having to chase them down the street and beg them to buy your goods or your service. You are not having to, constantly find new customers because your old customers don't want to do business with you again. It is a very specific way of doing business. It is a very relational type of business. And, it wraps into your sexy life. I'm going to touch on this just a minute. The next episode of the podcast, we're going to talk about what a sexy life is. But a sexy life in this context is one that is first. Your priorities are first, and the things that you want out of life are first. And then your business gives you streams with an S, multiple streams of income wrapped around that life. Instead of trying to fit your life into the schedule that your ugly business would dictate. Okay, sexy has a lot of connotations, and I want to clear some of them up. Sexy is a very attractive word. Sexy is something that when you see it, it denotes confidence. It denotes, knowing what they're talking about or knowing what they're doing. That's part of having a sexy business also, is that people can recognize in you that you know what you're doing. You know what you're selling. You know what you're talking about. It's a really important thing to have confidence in your business, because if you don't have that confidence, again, that's not a sexy business. If you're trying to, beg for sales and you're trying to beg for customers and clients to connect with you, that's desperate marketing. And desperate marketing is also not a sexy business. Desperate marketing is something that all of us have experienced. Someone either being sleazy because they just have to make the sale because that's all they're about, or someone who's desperate marketing because they have bills due and they need to make money. Well, I'm going to tell you another quality of a sexy business is that it's profitable. Some people come into business and call it a business, but it's really a hobby. And that's not what a sexy business is. A sexy business is definitely not a hobby. It is scalable, it is duplicatable, and things can be delegated. Those are really important words and part of the sexy vocabulary words, because it's important that you can delegate tasks so that you're not the only one working in your business. To work on your business is a lot sexier than working in your business. Now, I'm not saying you start there, and I'm not saying that, when you first start your business, that you won't have things that you have to do. I want to make that clear. You will have to do things sometimes that you don't want to do. But the goal is always to find a way to put a process or a system in place so that your business can run while you're doing life. If a sexy life to you is being on the beach in, Mazatlan, then what do you have to do to create a business that can support that? It's really backwards thinking to what most people do. Most people come in and say, okay, I need this much money, so I'm going to create this business so that I can have, this much money to pay these bills. Well, I want you to think about it for a second. What if a sexy business afforded you no bills or just minimal bills? What if you didn't have to go into debt because you were making enough money to pay for whatever you wanted? That's a sexy business. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be in debt. It doesn't mean that you should never, take out a loan on something. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm saying the end result is, what if you could do it all without having someone else having to say yes to you? I think all of us have sat in front of a creditor at some point and our skin crawled because they want to get all into everything that we are doing and everything we know. And it feels very invasive sometimes. Well, here's the thing. If you finance yourself, that doesn't have to be. So when you finance yourself, that's also a sexy business quality. I know that some of you are thinking, yeah, that sounds great for you, but you don't know where I'm at. Well, let me just tell you so that you understand who I am. I actually have been homeless. I actually was homeless with 2 little boys that, my babies that I had to figure out what we were going to do. I've had a lot of things in my life go toward what other people would consider failures. For me, I understand that they're lessons. They're a way not to do something. They're a way to correct what I'm doing so that I can do great business. So take all of your excuses and put them on, a piece of paper if you'd like, and then throw them away. Because here's the thing. Anyone can have a sexy business if you're willing to do what it takes to have one. And anyone can live a sexy life if you will take the steps to do the things to create a sexy business. We don't want you to have just one stream of income. We don't want you to, have the mindset of, well, I just have to give it all away because it's not good to have money. It's a great thing to have money. When you have more money, you can serve bigger. When you have more money, you can do more things for other people. You can do more things for your family. So I encourage you to, shift what you're thinking about a sexy business. Throw out the excuses and throw out the, you're the only one on the planet that can't do this, because it's not true. You can figure this out the same way that I had to figure this out, and we're here to help you. I think that these podcasts are going to be phenomenal because the first 100 of them, the first one was an interview with Young Pratt, who actually is the one that I have to thank for having a podcast at all. I wanted a podcast, but I didn't have months to spend learning how. So she created a class for me called Podcast in a Weekend. Young is an amazing biz bestie of mine. And when she did that, she opened up an avenue where now I can reach millions more people in, opening your mind to having a sexy business. That's the biggest part of my mission. I had babies and I had to do things the hard way. I want you to do things in a better way. There are better ways to do things than what you are currently doing. There are better ways to do things than what I'm currently doing. We're always learning and we're always sharing what we learned with you. So if you can buckle up your seatbelts and hold on for the ride, the My Sexy Business podcast is going to give you some mind-blowing ideas and some practices and principles that maybe you haven't thought of or applied yet. I'm telling you, they work. I'm sitting here before you today with a completely different life than I had before when I had an ugly business. And I'm not saying that business wasn't amazing. It just didn't give me the opportunity to have the sexy life that I wanted. It didn't give me freedom. It didn't give me the things that when I set it up, I thought I would get. So I want to save you the trouble. If I can help you create a sexy business for a sexy life, you can skip the creating an ugly business part. So that is my mission, is to help you do that. And I'm surrounded by a team of amazing, sexy people who also want to help you with that. So thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope that explained a little more about what a sexy business is. The next episode will be on what a sexy life is. So join us on the My Sexy Business podcast. If you want to go check out some more things from us on mysexybusiness.com. This is Kim White with the My Sexy Business.